Hey everybody, it's Mindy, and I have an interesting video for you today, something I haven't done before, and it is just a book haul. I have quite a few books that I have acquired over the last several weeks, and I thought I would share them with you. Some new authors to me, some very interesting things. So let's get started with it. The first one I have to show you is a book from Mary Alice Monroe. I have never read Mary Alice Monroe before, and this book is entitled On Ocean Boulevard. I didn't even realize. I got this at Walmart. Cheap. It was in the bargain bin, right? I did not realize that this is part of an ongoing series of books based on this family and this location on Ocean Boulevard. So Kara is coming back after many years, and she's getting married for the second time. And the family is coming back for the wedding and things like that, and they're building a home. Her parents have been bankrupt or almost bankrupt, and they're coming back to build a house here, and they're hoping that that's going to solve all of their problems. However, there is an illness apparently that happens, a serious illness, which changes the trajectory of everybody's lives, okay? And there's going to be 3 generations. There's mom, grandma, and granddaughter. They're all coming together to deal with the situations, the house that's having some difficulties being constructed, this illness for someone, and learning how to overcome all of the issues and the problems that they have been having. So it sounded very interesting. Now that I know that it's part of a series, of course, I'm going to have to go look and see what the other books are in the series, of course, right? So that's the first one I picked up. Got that at Walmart. Okay, let's move on to the next one. So again, while I was rummaging through the bargain bin at Walmart, I found another book that I thought was very interesting. It's by Stephanie Ivanovich. I have read a couple of books of hers, and I have really enjoyed her writing. I like her style, okay? So this one is about Zoe. Zoe has been divorced, not a good relationship with the ex-husband, I don't think, and she's escaping, and she starts a catering business. While she starts her catering business, she comes upon a gentleman named Tristan. Tristan's a millionaire, okay? But Tristan is very reserved and shy. And as she's catering for him, she's thinking, he's got all the right qualities. I just have to bring him out of him, get him out of his shell a little bit. She says, I think I can do it. I'm the girl for the job. This will work. Now, what she doesn't realize is that she's done a very good job of helping him become less reserved and more open and out there in the world. And now to the point where she's like, I don't even think he notices me. Apparently he's become much more popular. And she's like, what did I do? Did I just ruin all my chances with him? Did I do such a good job that he's not going to be interested in me now? So interesting. We'll see what happens, right? So sounds like a fun, quirky little thing with, it's called Under the Table. Under the Table. Her catering and her millionaire that she tries to swoon. Yeah, we'll see how it happens. What happens? Okay, not sure. Next book I picked up was this little book called Flirting with Forever. I picked this up at Walmart. Not Walmart, no, Menards. Actually, my husband was like looking through the titles at Menards, and he handed me this one, and I picked it up and I read it, and I was like, okay. So it's called Flirting with Forever, Kara Bastone. Never heard of her before. Apparently, she is an award-winning novelist, so I don't know. So the story is about Mary and John. Mary owns a swanky boutique in Manhattan and has a customer who wants to set her up with a blind date, her son. So she's like, well, she saw some pictures of him, and she's like, okay, he's pretty hot, no problem. It's time for me to get back out into the dating world anyhow. She's like in her mid-30s. Oh my goodness, gotta get back in the dating world. So she agrees to go on the date and meets John, and John is pretty, he's nice, he's smooth, he's, okay, things are going well, until he drops some inappropriate comment about her age. And he has no filter for what he says. It just has set her right off, and she's like, no, done with you, dude. That was inappropriate. And so, end of story. Except mom is still there. And mom is still coming into the boutique and keeps finding ways for the two to reconnect. And so they finally agree to a fake dating just to keep mom happy, get her off their back. So they decide to fake date. Well, in the fake dating, of course, they develop a friendship and maybe a little more than a friendship. And apparently they're going to try to work through the rocky start they had when he was inappropriate with his comments, because he wants to be honest and have candor, unlike his father, who is a politician and a public defender, and he feels that his father is not always honest. And so he strives to be upfront and sometimes brutally honest to a fault. So will they move past that? I don't know. We'll find out. Next book I picked up is called Buying Time. I'm not certain why I picked this one up. It is part of a series, though, apparently, called the Legacy series. Paula Kay is the author. And apparently, Ariana has lived a life of privilege. Prestigious schools, private schools, everything she could ever want in her life. She has never experienced hardship. Something tragic happens. I don't know what tragic happens, but a tragedy occurs, and she wants to escape. She just wants to escape her life. She wants to go on a trip where she can just get away and pretend that everything is just normal. Well, it's not normal. She encounters someone from her past, and it sounds like it's somebody she doesn't know because they're called a stranger. But there's this encounter with someone that it challenges everything she believes about herself and life and her plan for her future. I have no idea what the tragedy is, but this shock just rocks her to the core, and she has to think about the rest of her life and what's going to happen. So, it is part of a series. Like I said, the next one in the Legacy, this is the first one in the Legacy series. So I don't know. It sounded interesting. Let's see what happens on her trip and her encounter with the stranger. So the next one is another inspired by my husband book. He might say things about how many books I have and I just need to read the ones I have, but yet he'll be someplace in a bookstore, or like this one was Walmart, and he's picking up books and he's like, well, what do you think about this one? Well, I picked this one up and I was like, yeah, okay, that one is right up my alley. So it's called Her Christmas Cowboy. The author is Jessica Clare. And I read the back of this and I was like, yep, this is right up my alley. Okay, so Amy is a school teacher. She's new in town, small town romance, cowboys. How can you go wrong, right? Okay, so Caleb has noticed her and he wants to get to know her. He's like, but he hasn't said a word to her. He's like really reserved. He's holding back. Well, he has learned that she is going to play like Mrs. Claus for something in the town pageant, Christmas celebration. And he's like, oh, then I'm gonna sign up to be Mr. Claus. I'm gonna be Santa Claus. Well, there's also like a secret gift exchange, secret Santa gifts, and he is her secret Santa. So he is sending her all of these gifts and she's enjoying all the gifts. They're all very nice and she's enjoying them. And then her landlord pops up and says, hey, guess what? I'm your secret Santa. Let's go out. They go out to dinner. And she's like, oh man, that's not who I was hoping it was, He's not the type for me, but I'll go out to dinner with him because he's been very nice and bought me these gifts and he's been my secret Santa. Well, guess what happens at the dinner? Caleb pops in and says, whoa, wait a minute. I'm your gift giver. Whoa, what? So now she's like sitting at dinner with the one dude and this guy comes in and says, no, I'm your secret Santa. And she's like, why hasn't he ever said anything? And she's very intrigued by him. Now, what's going to happen now? Can he actually come forward and say, hey, let's date. Let's try this out. We're going to be Mr. and Mrs. Claus together. This is just so funny, right? And this is my type of book. Totally. Give me a good old cowboy romance any day. Any day. I love them. And this whole thing with the Secret Santa, that just made it all the better. All the better. And then the fool that comes in and tries to say, it was me? No. I'm glad he stepped up and called him out, right? It's going to be funny. All right. So I had to pick this one up. Okay. I had to get this book. I've seen several people talk about it, and now I'm scared. Now I'm just scared, okay? But it's called Lily and the Octopus Dog story, right? How could I not get this book when it's about a dog? It looks like maybe it's a wiener dog. I could be wrong, but maybe it is. But it's about Lily. She's the dog and best friends with Ted. Ted narrates the story. Lily's his best friend. And it's a story about Lily. And I think I've learned a little more from watching a couple people talk about it. I think Lily might have cancer. And I think the octopus is like symbolizing the tentacles of the disease that's ravaging Lily's body. But it's a touching story about friendship and everything that Ted will do for Lily as she's ill. And then I've been hearing that it will just rip your heart right out and you will just cry buckets of tears. And I was like, why did I buy this book then? Why? I don't know. But it's about how it feels to just love fiercely and how difficult it is to let go. How worthwhile it is to fight for what matters. Okay, this is going to have to be a right moment, right mindset kind of book to read. I don't know. I just had to try it. We'll see what happens. We'll see if what they say is true, that it's going to rip my heart out and I'm just going to cry through the whole book. It could happen. All right, it could happen. The next two books I picked up are part of a series, and this series intrigues me. So the common thread is the location. The location is Indigo Bay, all right? All the stories take place at this seaside city, little town by the ocean. The thing that's interesting about this is there's 6 books in this series. They are all written by a different author. So that always intrigues me, how different authors can write about the same topic, the same place. So there has to be some similarities other than just probably the location, which is Indigo Bay. I'm certain that they're probably all standalones. They all seem to be different people, different characters in each of the books. But the first one in the series is called Sweet Dreams, written by Stacy Claflin. So she heads it out in the series. She's the lead, author. And this one is about, what's her name? Sky. Sky has been taking care of her sister for a long time. Her sister is very famous. What is she? She's a singer, a singing sensation, and her sister is there to help her and help her navigate, touring and fans and all that kind of stuff. Jace comes along and he has a shattered heart and he works fixing up the little cottages around, and he's called to work on the air conditioner at their cottage, apparently. And when he shows up and he meets Sky, they barely notice each other, didn't, really pay any attention. But then they start to find out that they have more in common than it first appeared, and attraction grows, but maybe the fences flare up and, there's going to be some drama and whatnot. But that's the first book in the series. All right. The second book in this series is called Sweet Beginnings, and that one is written by Melissa McClone. Now, I thought it was interesting. In the back of, not that one, but in the back of this one, there's a little synopsis of each of the new books coming up. All right, there's a little tiny bit. So like Seaside Kisses, Seaside Christmas. So there's a little summary of each of the books in the series. I thought that was kind of helpful if you want to know what's coming up in future series, right? So this one is about Hope Ryan, and Hope Ryan is an artist, and she's hoping to have her art displayed in, galleries and become very famous. She wants to venture outside her comfort zone, She's fearful of heartbreak, though. She wants to be more than just, she does a little artwork for tourists at this point, but she wants to grow her artistry. Then there's Josh Cooper. He is an injured football player, and it sounds like he has done some things wrong to some people in the past. He's wronged some people, and he's trying to make amends. Well, in his attempt to make amends, he's flying to a wedding to, right the wrongs he's done. And then who does he run into but Hope? Of course, Hope, because she's doing little art things for somebody's wedding. And, he gets to the Indigo Bay, to the wedding, and he is just captivated by her, just fascinated by her. And of course, you know what's going to happen. Will sparks fly? Whatever wrongs he did in the past, is he going to fess up? Is he going to have to, prove that he is past that he is not that person anymore? Will she believe him? That kind of thing. So I think these are very interesting. A series of books, all written by different authors. Like I said, they're going to be like a standalone novel because they have different characters and different storylines in each one, but all based around this area of Indigo Bay. So I thought it was kind of cool. I don't know if I'll read all 6, but, we'll see how they go. Well, that is the books that I hauled over the last, 4 or 5 weeks maybe. So I hope that maybe there's something in that pile that you might enjoy. I definitely found some different authors, not my normal type of authors that I read. So branching out there, trying out some new things. So anyhow, thanks for watching, you guys. And I'll see you in the next video. Who knows what that will be? See ya. Thank you.